A demonic pact, a mother's choice, born from pure desperation, and a child that was never, ever meant to be. Today, we're jumping into the terrifying story of Shaitaan Ki Santaan, or the Devil's Child, and unpacking how it taps into this universal fear of a troubled pregnancy to tell a story of absolute horror. So right from the jump, the story hits you with this super haunting verse. It really sets the tone, doesn't it? It's basically a promise that things are about to go very, very wrong. It's like, okay, we are about to watch one world die and a new, terrible one begin.
All right, so let's meet our main character, Aisha. She's pregnant and she's living this quiet, pretty isolated life. But you know what happens when that quiet gets completely shattered? From the very first scene, it's crystal clear that something sinister is hanging over her and her unborn baby. And this is where things start getting really weird. The story just layers on these creepy, ominous signs. Aisha wakes up from a nightmare, only to find herself in a real-life one. Her flowers, this tiny piece of happiness, are totally destroyed. She snaps at her caretaker Vimla, which shows us just how on edge she is. And then you get the really unsettling stuff. The strange woman in red shows up and does what is obviously some kind of dark ritual right at her gate. Every little thing is another crack in her world, building up this incredible sense of dread. So Aisha gets on the phone with her mom, who sounds concerned, sure, but she's also trying to calm her down. She tells Aisha that the caretaker, Vimla, is totally trustworthy, that she's helped tons of women, and this is just a brilliant piece of dramatic irony, right? Because we, the audience, are sitting here screaming, no, don't trust her, but Aisha's being told everything is fine. It just makes you wonder, what does her mom really know? That creepy feeling that something is just off with the pregnancy. Well, it's becoming impossible to ignore. During a routine checkup, something pops up on the screen that just can't be explained away. So the question becomes, is this a medical glitch or is it something way, way worse? And this scene just nails the tension perfectly. The doctor literally sees what looks like a horn on the baby's head, but instead of freaking out, she just rationalizes it. Oh, it's just a positional anomaly, a weird shadow. It gets dismissed, but for Aisha and for us, that image is burned into our brains. Modern medicine has no answer to the supernatural horror that's growing inside her. Okay, so all that subtle, creepy stuff we've been seeing, forget that. We're about to go from a slow burn to a full-on inferno. An abduction is about to change everything, revealing a conspiracy so horrifying it completely shatters Aisha's world. Aisha spots her again, that same woman in red from before, and her gaze is just predatory. Aisha's gut screams at her to run, but it's too late. She gets cornered, not just by one woman, but by 3 of them, a cult. They don't want her purse, they want her baby. Her fear just turns into pure helplessness as they knock her out and drag her away. And here we go, we finally get a name for the evil behind all this, Kalsara. This is the demon they worship, and his goal is simple. He wants to bring his heir, his child, into our world. Aisha wasn't just some random target, she was chosen to be the vessel. So when Aisha finally wakes up in some dark cave, the cult's leader, Maya, just drops this absolute bombshell on her. She delivers this chilling piece of information, and in that one sentence, everything Aisha thought she knew about her own pregnancy is destroyed. Okay, to really get what's happening, you have to look at the timeline of how this whole twisted thing was set up. It's truly tragic. It all started with grief. First, Aisha's husband dies. Then, while pregnant, she falls and has a miscarriage. It's in that moment of absolute rock bottom that the cult swoops in and makes a deal with Aisha's grieving mother. See, this reframes everything. It's not a random haunting. It's a calculated plot born from human sorrow. And when you break it down, the cult's plan is just chillingly methodical. Step 1, make a bargain with a heartbroken grandmother. Step 2, create a magical binding disguised as a protective charm. Step 3, plant a guardian, Vimla, inside the house to basically drug her. And step 4, the endgame, the birth of Kalsora's successor. What's so scary is how they used a mother's desperate love as the key to their entire evil plan. But here's where it gets even more messed up, on a psychological level. The cult tries to twist her reality. They tell her, oh, you're not a victim, you're the chosen one. You're a goddess carrying our savior. It's this insane attempt to warp her mind into accepting this horror, which is just terrifying. But Aisha is not having any of it. And this is where we hit the climax, where the cult's perfect plan just completely unravels. The story pivots right here to its main theme, that a mother's love can be a force of nature, powerful enough to stand up to even a demon. So, they drag Aisha deeper into the cave, and she finally sees him, Kulsora, in his true demonic form. But honestly, the bigger horror is when she sees who the third cultist is, standing right there with the others. It's her own mother. The betrayal is now absolute. But right there, in that moment of absolute despair, something inside her mom just snaps. Seeing her daughter about to be sacrificed to this monster, seeing the real cost of the deal she made, she just can't do it. Her love for Aisha finally becomes stronger than her grief, and she goes from being a pawn to a rebel. And that's it. She lunges forward, she grabs the yellow thread from Aisha's neck, and with one single move, the binding is broken, the ritual is shattered. Oh, and Kulsora's reaction? Absolute unleashed fury. He is not happy. Vimla gets torn in half, Maya, the leader, is killed in an instant, and then he turns all that rage on the one who ruined his plan, Aisha's mother. But as they're trying to escape, her mom reveals one last critical twist. Aisha thought her mother was the one who put that thread on her neck. But the truth is, her mom couldn't go through with it. Maya used magic to disguise herself and do it. And that's so important because it redeems her, right? She wasn't truly evil, she was just a broken person whose weakness got exploited. And knowing there's no way out for her, Aisha's mom makes the ultimate sacrifice. With those final words, she turns around to face the demon herself, buying Aisha just enough time to run. It's a final heroic act that completes her story, from a manipulated victim to a hero who gives her life to fix her mistake. Which brings us to the final, absolutely chilling part of the story. An escape was made, yeah, but the cost was devastating, and it doesn't lead to freedom. It leads to a terrifying new beginning. Aisha manages to get out of the cave, but she is completely broken, physically and emotionally. She's in agonizing labor, running through the woods until she literally can't take another step. She collapses in the mud, and with the very last bit of strength she has, she gives birth. And then, just silence. The whole ordeal was too much. Aisha doesn't survive. And this is the final image we're left with, and it is pure nightmare fuel. The baby, covered in blood, doesn't make a sound. It doesn't cry like a human child. No. Instead, it unnaturally, slowly gets to its feet. And at that exact moment, its father, Kulsora, appears. The rebellion saved Aisha's soul, but it couldn't stop the inevitable. The plan worked. So the story leaves us right there with this terrifying question. A child is born, a successor is here. But for whom is this a new beginning? And for the rest of humanity, does the birth of the devil's child mean it's the end of everything?